Guys, so today I decided to start doing a tutorial and then I completely failed at it, so I already had this look on and I figured what could I do to it to keep going, and the obvious choice I thought was to create a zombie. Also, thank you so much for your support during the Halloween season. I don't do actual filming tutorials of all the Halloween looks I do, but I do post a new look almost every day or every other day on my Instagram. So please check that out if you'd like. It's at Ray of Sunshine Beauty on Instagram, and let's go ahead and jump into the video. Alright, so we're going to start off by contouring this zombie with some gray eyeshadow. This is Stealth from Makeup Geek. I already had makeup on, but that's only because I messed up on the tutorial that I was filming before this, so you don't need to have any makeup on before this. Just start with this gray tone or anything dark just to create that really harsh contour. Now we're going to focus on the eyes. We're using this eyeshadow from Makeup Geek as well in the shade Desert Sands, and I'm just using a fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I'm just going to start really carving out and making the under area look really gross, really tired, really disgusting. So I used quite a few colors just in this under eye area just because I wanted to make it as realistic as possible, because normally in the under eye area, if you were tired or dead, you would have these darker shades, the blues, the yellows, almost some purples and pinks. So I wanted to use all these shades, but this is totally optional. Feel free to use whatever dark shades you want, but I just went in here with a navy blue from the Morphe 35D palette just to darken it up just a little bit. And as you can see, I'm bringing that color all the way up into the socket there, up towards the eyebrow, just because that's a little bit more realistic. So then I'm going in with this shade from Anastasia. This is in shade Sangria, and this just gives it a little bit more of a purple tone to it, just like you would really see in a tired under eye area. And now I'm going in with black. So this is the Corrupt from Makeup Geek, and I'm using all four of these shades, just layering them. Like I said, this is totally optional. You do not need to use all these shades. I just wanted to for this look. Now I'm going back in with that gray shade from the beginning from Makeup Geek, and this is the shade Stealth. And I'm just taking a large fluffy brush and just kind of putting this all over my face in no particular place, just to kind of make it a little bit more gross because I had some nice foundation on first. And now I'm going in with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Black Bean, and I'm really not precisely clearly placing this all over my lid and the under eye area. This is just to really darken up the area. I wanted to do whatever is the quickest, whatever is the easiest, and totally whatever is the messiest. You could just use the black eyeshadow if you'd like, but I just found this to be the easiest, so I'm just kind of painting on that shade. We are going to blend it out a little bit because, I mean, we don't want to be too reckless. So this is just a concealer brush actually from e.l.f. And I'm just blending it out just a little bit so it looks a little bit less messy. And now that we're done kind of creating these disgusting, tired, dead-looking like eyes, we're going to move on to what I think is the fun part. This is the face and creating all the gross pieces to it. So first we're going in here with some liquid latex and just a cosmetic sponge, and I'm just placing the latex where I want all these kind of hanging skin pieces to be. I do this almost 3 times layering it, because what you have to do is you have to let the liquid set, you have to let it dry, and then you're going to layer it. So these are all the places where I want the wounds to be. So basically I do this off camera, but I do 3 different sets. I put it on, let it dry, do it again. Here's my last layer. I end up just going in with the brush just so I can get as much product on there. But again, you should do as many layers as you want to get the texture that you want. But you want to make sure that it dries in between each one and dry before you start going on to the next step. So the next step is basically going to kind of tear apart those latex pieces that you created, and just to create these little holes. Now this is for the look that I'm going for, but you can go whatever look that you would like. So basically you're just pulling apart the latex, not so much that it comes all the way off, but just creating those little holes. So this is what it should look like so far. We're going to go back to the mouth in just a minute. We're going to let that sit because I did put a lot of latex there, but we are going to go in first with this abrasion wheel from Nye. If you didn't have these certain wheels, you could also just use lipstick or anything that works in this color. I actually found out that this step was kind of pointless because I ended up putting blood in that place anyways, but it's alright. That color that I just put inside, I'm going to put all on the outside of these little abrasion cuts, wounds, blisters, whatever they are, just to make them look super irritated and super gross. And really I'm just going to do the same thing with a couple different colors from that wheel. Now I'm going with a darker color. This is more of a really dark blood, disgusting color, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the others, kind of just putting that shade all on the outside of the wound just so it looks gross. Now going in with a black eyeshadow, doing the same thing, really just creating as much color and as much density and as much texture as we can to make these look as realistic as possible, even though obviously it's not real. So I'm just shading in those areas, creating a little bit more depth like I said, and then we'll move on to the rest of the face. Since I did have makeup on first, I want to make it look a little bit more messy. I wouldn't recommend starting this look with makeup on, but I had done something prior to this, and that's why I had makeup on. But now I'm just taking the shade Mocha, it's just a brown eyeshadow, and just kind of dirtying up the rest of the face, just because I thought it looked a little too clean for a zombie. So now let's go to the mouth. I'm going to start pulling apart the mouth, and instead of making one little hole like we did with the rest of them, I'm kind of slightly and carefully pulling it up all the way back because that's where we're going to draw in the mouth area underneath the exposed teeth. But I didn't want there to be so much of the quote flesh hanging over, so I decided to cut it. Now I'm going in with the paint from Mehron. Nope, just kidding, this is from Wolfe FX, and this is a water activated paint. And I'm actually just using a little lip brush to start to really pencil out where I want the teeth to be. We're going to be kind of shading around them afterwards. They don't have to be precise. Again, this is a zombie. They don't have nice teeth, and that's going to be fine. So go ahead and do this step. Then we're going to dance a little. And then we're going to move on. So going back to the wheel, I'm just going to go in and take that really dark red shade and just kind of coloring all the places where the gums would be, in between the teeth, on top of the teeth, and then kind of just shading in the areas just where you would find most of the shade if this was a realistic mouth. Again, going in between the teeth, and just I'm going to go ahead and let you watch here and see how I kind of just mold out and shape out those teeth. Next, I'm going in with that darker shade, and I'm just going to shade in a little bit even more of the mouth, kind of in between where a natural shade would be, just where it would be a shadow, and again, just creating more density and more texture. See, even zombies sing The Weekend. Okay, so now we're just going to go in and just, again, using that wheel, creating those colors and textures all around the outside of the mouth, just to make it look a lot more irritated and gross and just disgusting. I mean, that's what a zombie's all about, right? But what would a zombie be without blood? This is my favorite part. So we're going to go in with the Nye Scab Blood. This is my favorite blood to use in a look like this because it's very firm and it doesn't really drip too much. So I'm just taking this on a Q-tip and I'm just putting it inside all of the wounds. Honestly, this is totally up to you. Put it wherever you want. Funny side note, in real life, I am terrified of blood. It makes me nauseous, lightheaded, disgusting. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, I want to bathe in this stuff. I mean, I just love putting fake blood all over the place. It's my favorite. So you go to town, do as much blood as you'd like. I wanted it to be pretty much everywhere. And then I'm just going to kind of go back to places where I want more, where it should be dripping. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more bruising kind of on the neck. And that's going to be just pretty much the first part of this tutorial. So going back in with those eyeshadows, I'm taking the navy blue from the Morphe palette. I'm going to take the Anastasia color as well, which is like the purple shade, and then also a black shade, and just kind of create dirty, messy bruises all on the neck. Now again, this is part 1 to a part 2 tutorial. This is just the face part, but in part 2, I'm going to be going in and drawing all on the neck area, the exposed chest and bones, kind of using the same concept, just going a little bit further, but I didn't want this video to be a million minutes long. So this is part 1. I hope that you like the look, and thank you so much for watching. See you guys soon!